How's it going, everyone? This is Cause Agent Character speaking, and welcome to the next 5-minute review, more or less, of a game called Shadowgate. This is Shadowgate 2014, not the NES version, but the PC version. In this case, it is Steam. Just to give you a huge recap of whether you should play this game or not, if you enjoyed Shadowgate for NES, you are definitely going to enjoy Shadowgate 2014. The thing is if you thought that Shadowgate for NES was confusing, this game is going to be just as equally, if not even more confusing. It definitely does follow like the same type of storyline that it does in the NES version. You'll definitely recognize a lot of the sections when it comes to playing the 2014 version. I'm not 100% accurate, I'm not 100% sure as to how accurate the game is versus the original NES one, but I can tell you that you'll definitely recognize a huge chunk of the game, and you'll definitely realize which sections are different versus the original game. But when it comes to the game itself, it actually gives you a huge variety of things that you can choose from, such as right here. You can change the music volume, the sound effects volume, and the cinematics volume. You can have the UI, so when it comes to controlling the game itself, whether you want to use the one that they give you versus the retro one. And same goes for the music in the game, the text in the game, the transitions of the game, and the graphics of the game. You can actually change basically everything about this game to make it seem like it's either the NES version or something like that. So for instance, the original version transitions, you can make the game transition to look like the NES one. You can change the music from its original to the retro music, so it'll actually use all of the NES version music the entire way. Nothing's changed about it, which is amazing. Same goes for text and commands. You can actually use the original NES commands where it would tell you, I want to eat this, I want to move here, I want to open this, things like that. It is amazing when it comes to customizability, when it comes to whether you want to make it look like the original game or not. That being said, I definitely suggest again to play this game if you enjoyed the original. I enjoyed the original in a frustrating way because I just wasn't smart enough to play the game. I didn't really understand how you were supposed to figure these things out, and I still don't. So the only reason I wouldn't suggest to play this game is because I wasn't smart enough to play it. So if you feel like you weren't smart enough to play the NES one, you won't be smart enough to play this one. This version has several modes. You can actually play normal mode, which is, I think, the way it was intended to play in the NES version, where there's a lot of simplicity when it comes to playing the game. And the reason why I can say that is because there's also another version where you can play classic mode, and that mode has 3 different difficulties. So basically you can think of it as classic mode, easy, normal, or hard, and then there is just normal mode where I played classic. I believe it was classic and normal mode, where a lot of the puzzles are a little bit more complex than they would be normally, but it does make that is technically the way the developers want you to play the game. So you have a time limit as to how long you have before you end up dying and or having to find a cure, for instance, throughout the game. which is really awesome. I don't think that's bad because that's the way I started. And then I ended up dying, realizing there was no way I was gonna win. And then I figured I would just start everything back from normal mode. So like screw classic, just do normal mode. And a lot of the things that I saw in my first playthrough was nowhere near the exact same thing I saw the second time. And I actually got to the spot where I had ended up dying in about an hour. And that's because I couldn't really remember every single step. Not only that, again, some of the puzzles were different, so I wasn't having as many items, so therefore I was thinking to myself, where is this item? Just wasn't really found, because kind of like the original Shadowgate, this game also has a lot of things that you don't need also scattered everywhere, so you're just kind of figuring out to yourself whether you need it or not. So yeah, the game's amazing, but if you couldn't play the NES one, there's no way you're gonna be able to play this one. And I had to basically either take huge hints or just outright cheat throughout the playthrough, and then halfway through it I just had to give up and look at an entire walkthrough to figure out what the hell it is they wanted me to do with having minor skip steps here and there, because you know I was just figuring, oh, maybe I just need to use this, oh it works, okay, keep going. But not that many. Again, I do definitely suggest you play the game and try it out if you enjoyed the first one, the original for NES. But if you weren't smart enough, or you had a lot of trouble, if that sounds bad, playing the game, then you'll definitely have just as equally as much trouble playing this one, because even though it is a higher resolution, I guess you can think of, game, there are quite a number of things that are different that is nowhere near the original NES, so you will still have a lot of trouble figuring that out. But yeah, yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this review helped you in some way, shape, or form. Even though I had to basically cheat my way to victory, I honestly don't feel bad for doing it, because like, I'm very proud of just trying the game out to begin with and not giving up or dropping it entirely and never even looking at the ending, than to never even looking at it at all. So that is just me. I don't tend to look at walkthroughs whenever I play games, but when it comes to puzzle in general, there's just no way I'm going to be able to do it all by myself, depending on what type of puzzle it is. But yeah, that being said, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully this helped you in some way. And with that, I am done. Hopefully you guys had fun. With that, I am going to head out. Everyone take care. Hope to see you next time. And peace out.